What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle for another episode of the Banner Saga. I hope you've been enjoying it thus far. We had some rocky straits in the last couple episodes, the desperate search for a save point, but we had finally found one. In the previous episode, we had busted back into Frostvellr. We're with Rook's group one more time, and we needed to get some supplies, so we had a new friend here named 1F. And we'll go back over here. Reminds me of Jeff Major, who's one of my favorite LPers. Actually, one of the people that really inspired me to start LPing, and his nickname is 1F Jeff, so that's what it reminds me of. Now that we've gone past that diatribe, 1F is a backbiter. What does that mean about him? Well, it means that he probably leaves a lot of bruises on the lady friends' backs, but anyways, he runs through people. And what that does is essentially he runs through the enemy. We saw this ability used in a previous episode. He'll run through the enemy, and then he stabs backwards under himself in that animation right there. How much damage it does, I don't know. Oh, he stabs him for normal strength damage. So it's going to be nice for getting through the enemy lines and approaching enemies who have really kind of ducked behind the back row and taken themselves out of the fight. At the moment, we have a couple upgrades ready to go. Gil is ready to roll. And I think I need to start kind of segmenting people out and giving them specific roles as we're playing through now. We've gotten people leveled up a little bit, and I've kind of just been throwing basic points into strength and armor just to make sure that they stay up long enough to get through the fight. But I believe, looking forward to the future, we're going to want to start focusing on some armor sundering. With some of our human characters, we want to focus on linkage, willpower, or exertion. I always forget what that's called. I call it linkage because they put little links right there, and that's just what it reminds me of. But anyways, I'll probably with Gil, once we level him up, give him a bit more, but at the moment, I don't want to spend any of our resources getting things done. Instead, what I'd like to try and do, looking here, we've upgraded Rook quite a bit, so he's level 3. It's disappointing because I was thinking about, well, no, never mind. I hadn't been aware of Rook's stats, but we've given him 3 to armor sundering, which is what I was really hoping I had done with him. In his next 2 level ups, because rank 5, I believe, is as high as you can go, I'll probably give him 2 to his linkage, and then 2 to willpower so that he can do 5 armor damage, or maybe I'll go all 3 into there and then just put 1 there and he'll kind of be a one-hit wonder, able to do 6 damage to somebody's armor at the beginning of a fight. I don't really know. Maybe I'll just give him the 2 and then go higher willpower so that he can do 5 armor sundering from the back line. Haven't really decided yet, but I need to start giving people specific jobs. We have a lot of wounded people right now, if I can stop gumming the words and rather just spit them out. I think we've only got 3 days worth of supplies left. There is a market, but we're about to get a bunch of supplies. So I think the big gamble right now is that I'm going to risk going after these supplies here and not going to the market in the interest of saving some of our extra renown to level people up. Is this going to work out in our favor? I have no idea. This could completely and totally backfire on me, but we're going to try it out. So let's go ahead and we're going to click away at the supplies. There's no option to rest, so there's that. 1F leads you to an inconspicuous building. This is them, he says to a handful of guards inside who lower their weapons. In a concealed basement, you find an enormous store of food and sundries. Grab what you can, he mutters. My guess what's going to happen here is if we make multiple trips, we're probably going to get walked in on. And then if we actually take what we can, which is what he's recommending here, in fact, it says grab what you can. So I think the game is kind of trying to hint what the right option is here, but I'm going to be a greedy prick, and let's make multiple trips to try and take everything. Hauling the entire store of supplies out of a basement takes more time than expected. Each moment you imagine Eccles' men rounding the corner. Yells in the distance mark that fear of becoming a reality. You get the others out and emerge from the building in time to meet them in battle. So yeah, that's what I figured. It would be a trade-off. We would get more supplies in exchange for having to go through a battle. 140 supply, really, that's incredible. Let's swap Hogan for Mogan, because they do the same thing. We'll swap Alette for Oddleif, because they do the same thing. She's leveled up a little bit, so this fight could get hairy. I do want to play around with 1F, but I feel like I've got too many rank 1s running into this battle to replace him with anybody else at the moment, so let's just flag ourselves as ready right now, and we'll go for it. Let's find out what we're up against here. As I draw silent, I've got a little timer that helps me time these episodes out. Just a little peek behind the emerald curtain. And oh god. Okay, so they have a lot of units right here. I think what I'd prefer to do is I'm going to try and draw everybody out. I'm going to leave him in the front. Let's swap them just in case they make a run here. I wish that if I clicked there and I clicked there, it would swap the two. Instead, I've got to do like this little rotation dance. What we're going to try and do is we're just going to bum rush this corner, and then we're just going to hole up in it, because I feel like that's probably the best option for what we have going on right now. Looks like he's got a couple of raiders, a veteran thrasher. Both of those could be issues for us. A couple of archers. The archers tend to go down pretty quickly and pretty spectacularly once you put a little bit of pressure on them. I am worried about the order of the combat, such that if this group acts first, this could turn into a little bit of a hairy ordeal. And not just because everybody here has a magnificent beard. We are outnumbered pretty spectacularly. Let's start the battle off. And let's first and foremost, we'll take a look and see who's going around. So, it looks like... Okay, so I lucked out. This group is going to be acting first. Who's our first actor here? We've got Eggle. And so for Eggle, I believe what I would like to accomplish is we're just going to move him like so. And we're going to put him into the mode that reduces the damage he takes by 3. Because I feel like he's probably going to be fired on by a lot of these guys. So we'll leave him right there. This Thrasher over here is now going to move. Okay, fantastic. And our next order of business is going to be continuing to move our bigger characters off this way to wipe out this front. So that then we can about face and handle our business. This Thrasher is going to get some damage off. Oh, he's going to move over there. Interestingly, he's managed to use up a lot of willpower there in the front. The people that I'd like to go after, though... I don't know if I should have my Thrasher hang out here and fight with this guy, or if I should have him bum rush over to there and take out one of the archers. I think I'll just have him advance slightly. And what I'd prefer is once we get to Rook's turn, what we'll be able to do with him is we'll use Rook's ability to mark him. So we'll Bloody Flail right now. And so there it is, 4 damage off. We did a little bit to his armor, a little bit to his strength, which is going to be nice. Our first arrow is away, way deep in downfield. I think what I'd like to do now... I could set her up right here so that when we get Rook's turn, he'll be able to do loads of damage to that Thrasher, but then that leaves her exposed to this group as they advance. So I'm going to move her back to there. And what does Thread the Needle do one more time? It hits all of the units in between the archer and the target in a straight line. Okay, so that's not going to be useful to me right now. Let's consider for a moment using a bit of willpower to sunder that armor. I'm going to try and build up some of my archers to break armor in the future, because I feel like that's probably going to be their preliminary use. What's going on over there? Oh, it just kind of opened up like a big old thingy and it made me nervous. On this side, he's got 5. I'm going to get over here and we're going to spear her. We're going to try and get here early and often, because that's how I like to conduct my business. There's 3 damage away, and I thought that she was going to move a little bit, because I was for some reason remembering those characters that we had in the previous episode that moved after you hit them. In either case, if she decides to move around now, she is going to take some damage. On this character, what I'd like to do is we're going to use Mark Prey. Yeah, we are going to step up our game right there. So he's now been marked, and then he takes 3 freebie damage. Yeah, there it is. So he's now officially out of the fight, and so we're going to leave him where he's... Actually, no, with the Thrashers. Is he a Thrasher? Okay, we've got to get rid of him, because no matter what he does, he's able to deal 4 damage with his special abilities, so he's unfortunately going to have to die. He is a character of interest to us. We can get over here and we can kill off that archer, or we can start off on this one. And given where everybody's armor's at, I think I'm going to start softening up this one. We're going to put a little bit of the Old English on it, give it some extra strength, and knock it on out. Took an arrow right there, unfortunately, but that's alright. We can sink it. I'm going to save his willpower for later, but I am going to bring him kind of out to the forefront right here, because this group is going to close with us pretty soon. She's managed to sunder a little bit of armor there. And with this character, my main interest at this point is going to be just to finish him off. Who's up next, by the way? It's going to be this gentleman right here. He can't get at us, so that's fine. Let's go ahead and kill him off. We're not going to use any of our willpower because we don't need to. So there it is. With our other character, we've got Alette. And what I'd like to accomplish with her is possibly hectoring some of these guys in the back lines a little bit, lower their strength down a tad. And once she's down to 2 strength, that's going to leave her, it's going to relegate her to armor sundering, which is all that she has left. And then she fell down anyways, so it's all good. With this character here, I think I'm going to leave, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill off this entire vanguard over here. And I'm going to leave these 5 up. So let's kill her off now. And so there it is. Hopefully Trigvi levels up pretty soon. I would love for him to get a ding very, very shortly, because spearmen are a class that I like to use a lot. Let's go ahead and we're going to fall back now. Because at this point they are being forced to maneuver around their own ranks. And let's drop kind of a makeshift line. Their archers have a next turn up. He's got 16 armor. Let's go ahead and we're going to step him up a little bit, I think, in order to kind of give them a little bit of something to stare at. I mean, he's kind of doing his little sexy dance in the corner like, ooh. You know, that's how he gets the attention. He shows off those horns. You got to do what you got to do when you were in the Viking hood to make ends meet. A little bit of damage done to our Thrasher right there. Unfortunate, because we are at the back of our line now. Who's up next? That lady? I do feel as though I should do something right here. Well, I don't have a good plan right now for what to do with this Thrasher. Instead, I'm going to have him join the line right here, I think. And then what I want to do is, because we have so many bonuses for adjacent allies, I want this to turn into kind of a consuming action. So I want them to move into the middle and then we surround them. So we have a lot of adjacent allies. We have everybody kind of linked up arm in arm, doing a little Broadway type dance of death. That Thrasher, oh, I thought he was going to use willpower to close with us, but it looks like he's going to keep it real here. She can't take a shot from anywhere but over there. And I think that's what I'm going to go for. Let's start working that armor a tad. He's got a soft jaw, and we're definitely going to put a knuckle or two on it. Okay, and so now's going to be the time where I feel as though we can get something done here. We're going to impale him for the regular strength damage and knock him back. That puts Trigvi in a little bit of a position. It puts him in a spot, I'll admit. Then again, we've got Rook here. I don't know if I want to use Mark Prey just yet. I mean, we get 5 damage right there, but his armor is so high that I don't see it being a very useful maneuver at this point. Let's start working that jaw one more time. So we'll do 4 armor damage right there, which isn't anything to scoff at. That's pretty much 25% of what he had, a little bit less than. We've got another Thrasher in position now. And I'm going to take Eggle. And we're going to line him up right here. Well, who goes next? Hold on. So who's up next? He's up next. And then Ivar. Oh, never mind. She's up next, then Ivar. Okay. So that leaves me with the option that I think I was going to go with in the first place. We're going to move him over to there. And I'm going to stonewall him. No, we're not going to stonewall him. How much armor? Oh, he has 9 armor left? Okay, so we are going to stonewall him. This archer is more than likely going to hit Trigvi. Okay, for a deflection. And that leaves me in a nice position now where I can move Ivar in right here. And I'm going to use Battering Ram on him to get him away from my front line. That's going to give Trigvi a little bit of room to breathe. It wasn't the optimal decision because obviously right there, he's not going to lose a lot of armor from that move, but it does keep him from closing with Trigvi in the next turn, which is a really, really scary thing. Now over here with our Thrasher, that opens up a new opportunity because we can use his Bloody Flail. He's going to get a tiny bonus right here on the last swing because he's side by side with Eggle. That shot's going to go away to Trigvi. Not something that I like, but we'll take it. He's got enough armor left where I think if I fire through my own line with Thread the Needle, we'll be okay. And he's also reducing the damage by 3, so she's doing 8. Yeah, that should be okay. Let's go for it. Perfect. Couldn't have gone better. Little bit of damage to Trigvi. And what I'd like to do with his turn now is we're going to back him off a little bit because we do have a lot of wounded people in our party. And we'll wait and see what they decide to do right here. Okay, so a bloody flail away. And now is going to be the time that we want to move Rook in. And since we have so many adjacent people, or at least we're going to get an 8 damage off right there. Yeah, let's do that. We're going to go with Mark Prey one more time. Okay, so a little bit more damage done. And now we're back with Eggle. What I'd like to accomplish with Eggle is we're just going to deal damage to this guy. We're going to get him out of the fight. That's going to put him at 1 strength. He's completely and totally worthless to his own cause now. Okay, maybe not. Maybe he'll bust up my armor. You never know. Sometimes I talk too much. I was actually sort of considering swinging over to this side. Let's go ahead and lower his damage a little bit. Rook is unfortunately taking a little bit of heat right now. We're going to continue on with Bloody Flail. Because it does appear to be our best option right now. A little bit better right there. And we're going to continue threading the needle. No. Instead, we're going to bust up. We need to run this line right here, and we need to handle some of these archers in the back. Yeah, let's kill him off. It's one of those weird times where I think a kill, or I can go for that Thrasher right there. He's no longer in his shielded mode, which means I can't thread the needle through him without taking some penalty. Yeah, let's get him out of the way. She needs to level up anyways. So that may have not been the optimal move, but it's still something. With Trigvi, I do feel as though he could potentially run somebody down in the back lines if we had to. So let's shift him a little bit. Oh, never mind. That archer has a longer range than I expected. Well then. We have an adjacent unit right here. We could mark prey on him, which would be a pretty substantial hit. I think it would be 2 armor off. And then from him, Ivar, it would probably be another 1 or 2 damage. That might be the best move that we could pull off right there. So let's go ahead and give it an attempt. Probably could have given him another willpower right there too. And so Trigvi's down, unfortunately. Oh, he deflected it. Good. I'm happy with that result. When does he move next? I need somebody to plug this hole. Alright, so I'm in the unfortunate circumstance where he's got to go. And so there it is. The deed is donesies. A deflection right there. We'll continue lowering his strength so that he's not worthwhile. And they finally got him. Over here, we need to start working this armor. He's got 3 strength left. She's at 5. Let's have Rook. Let me guess, she's up next, right? That's about what I figured. We'll go over to here. He's got a 70% chance right there with his 3 strength. Let's go ahead and shatter up her armor a tad. I was thinking about marking prey on him one more time, but I just don't think that's going to be a worthwhile action. She went after Eggle, which was kind of an interesting decision. And that leaves me where? She's up next. Now the thing is, the problem here, is that the right decision is to kill her first since she's up next turn, but you know what the game does? If I kill her, it just swaps this Thrasher in, so no matter what I do, I'm pretty sure that I'm about to lose Eggle, so we're gonna put him in shield wall mode. I'm gonna use this chance to finish him off. Her, we need to get her health down, so let's do that. Down she goes, and there's a promotion for Hogan or Mogan or whoever the hell. She's gonna take a risky shot right there, and it's gonna get deflected. That's probably, you know, if you can knock somebody out, the game is definitely trying to optimize its chances of killing somebody, so that's okay. We'll allow her to get the final kill. Very nice. And so we lost Trigvi, and it appears as though we lost Trigvi and somebody, I think, or did we only lose one guy? Before long, the last of the stores is cleaned out as you're turning to leave. A valuable-looking necklace with a deep green stone catches your eye, and you decide to keep it for yourself. Onef leads you and his trusted fighters out of the city before more men show up. Bodies and dredge fill the fields in front of Frostvellr. You consider the best way to leave. We got the Shaper Skystone or something? Alright, well, I'm pretty pleased with where we're at right now. I think, since they so rarely give me save points, let's go ahead and we're going to manage our party a little bit. And once we manage our party, I think that's where we're going to break off the episode. So that's allowed us to have 26 days of supplies. That's not terrible. We're up to 35 renown. I don't know what things, like we saw in previous episodes, that the game is going to mess with us a little bit, and it may drop like our supply carts off a mountain or something of that nature. So 26 is not as safe as I would like to be. Still, it's a reasonable amount of supply. Let's go upgrade some heroes. I think that's going to be the best use of our time. I've taken a look at some of the people that have kind of completed the game at this point and looked at some of their advice, and they've definitely sort of cautioned against not upgrading people. And so I think I'm going to focus on making sure we get as many people to rank 5 as we can by the end of the game. What is that? 2 strength deflected, plus 2 to drawing aggro. So that's going to be one of those tanky things that we really want to give to somebody, maybe Eggle or somebody else. What's he doing right now? Oh, he's got the free dodge. That's right. We can't rest at the moment, but my plan is to get right outside of town and rest so that everybody will feel better. We've got a promotion for Eggle. And for Eggle, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. So he's going to improve his ability. And that's going to give him, oh, he resists 5 damage per hit. Wow, that's incredible. That's a really, really good resist. I mean, eliminating 5 damage means that the enemy really has to have him outclassed. His armor pretty much has to be sundered down to nothing before that's going to work, which makes me think that the best plan for him may be to give him a bunch of armor. I mean, we'll go 1 in armor, and we'll go 1 in armor bashing ability, I guess. I don't think strength is going to be his main focus. We probably want to avoid that. I say that after I gave him a bunch of strength in a previous episode, so I may have wasted a level up there on him, but it'll be okay. I'm not going to cry over spilt milk and things I can't change. So we've got 2 right there. Having him bust up armor a little bit better. I've been worried. I feel like in the end game we're probably going to go up against people who need some armor sundering, and I haven't focused on that as one of the areas of expertise in my groups just yet. Maybe we'll take that off for now. We'll just give him 2 armor for the moment, and I'll have the archers focus on sundering armor for now. So we'll confirm the 2 armor right there. Make him a little bit more robust. Hogan's ready to go, and he's got a cheap upgrade, just 5. So we'll go ahead and give him that. We'll swap Hogan and Mogan whenever we can, so that we've always got like a Thrasher in combat. His ability is one I think... I don't know how to use Hogan and Mogan, to be honest. He's got a really high linkage skill, which always makes me think that I probably don't want to focus on giving him too much armor or strength. The high linkage or exertion skill means that we probably want to use him for bashing armor, but then again his armor break is really low. He's only got a 2 in armor break. He can be up to a 5 if we allocate his points properly. That's where I'll start. We're going to max out his ability to bash armor, and beyond that point I'll probably give him 2 into willpower, so he can use 3, so we want this to be divisible maybe. So we'll leave that at like a 9. Or a 6, and then we'll put the rest into strength possibly. Leave his armor where it's at. I don't know. Tough call right there with the Thrashers. I don't know how to build them appropriately. Armor break is never a bad thing to have, though, so if you can break armor, you're usually in a pretty good position. We'll level her up so that she can replace Oddleif whenever necessary. We're going to do the same thing with her. We're going to make it so that she can bust armor up from the back lines really, really nicely. Trygvi's ready to go. And with Trygvi, instead what I think I'd like to do with him, I'm not going to use him. I'm going to use him for frontline assault, I think. I don't think I'm going to have him. We're going to give him a little bit right there, and we'll give him an extra exertion so that he can hit really, really hard when he needs to hit. And then we'll start working on his baseline stats, like maybe give him 2 to armor and 2 to strength on his next 2 levels up. And then on his level 5 level up, we'll think about putting the final 2 points into further willpower. I like it. What's he's using? Okay, so he's got a 10% chance of a double strength damage. That's not bad. I'm glad that I decided not to spend too much money on random stuff in the previous episode. Let's take some of our renown. We'll look at the market and see if there's anything we want to purchase from there. We don't have a lot of money to play with or a lot of resources to play with, but still we've got something. About +1 armor on rest might be useful. Comb of the Lost Mother, 10% chance of double strength damage, and also a chance of drawing aggro. I don't know. +2 will per kill is not a bad thing, especially if you got somebody who's kind of a striker. He's that guy out there dealing DPS. Then again, the armor on rest, I don't know if that's every time you rest you get a +1 armor. That might be a useful ability if we could pull people back into the back lines, and if you don't move and you rest, that might be a nice bonus. I know you also get willpower back, I think, if you rest. I looked into it because I wasn't quite sure what it would do for us. Let's go with the Whalebone Needle. It might be a useful thing to have. You never know. It's a cheap item, but it's one that we might be able to make careful use of in the future. From there, I think I'm going to stop here. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me at the Nerd Castle for another episode of Stoic Studios of the Banner Saga. I look forward to using our Backbiter and all of our new characters in the future, and I will see you guys next time. Take care out there, everybody.